It happened because sometimes things happen and they're flukish, and I think the skill that we need to have is to put the flukes together to make sense of it, right? So when you come to Kidzania City's built for children, where children can experience the world of work, around 60 activities, from pilot to transplant surgeon to window cleaner, you name it, right? And there are about 25 worldwide. And essentially, the concept is that children experience those on their own. So it's meant to be independent, experience-based learning. Adults are there to be seen and not heard. So the children get a bracelet, and they log into every activity. The purpose of that is we can track where they are if we need to get hold of them. So I was in Mexico City years and years and years ago, where headquarters is, and I remember sitting down with the analysts, the data guys, saying, what do we do with that information? And they went, oh, we tell the sponsors how many children have been in their activities. So I then said, I want to know what a child's first choice is on their first visit. Can you do that? And they went, yeah. And I said, and I want a massive sample. The sample now stands at just under 600,000 globally.
Wow.
So we had the sample, and then I said, I want to know who these kids are. I want to know whether they're boys or girls, whether they're black or white, whether they're rich or poor, whether they're urban or rural, and which country are they from. Yeah, we can do that. So with help of many universities and very clever market research analysts, we kind of came up with 5 conclusions. The first one was that all stereotypes are set at the age of 4. So the pilot activity at the age of 4, pilot activity 95% boys, cabin crew 90% girls. And so it goes, entirely with stereotype. So think that through, right, from the age of 4. So we don't talk to youngsters pretty much in every country about their career until they're 14. So you allow the stereotype to cement for 10 years, and then you kid yourself that you can still make a difference. So there's another, back to the Benjamin Button bit, right, earlier and earlier. The second finding is that choice pattern doesn't change between 4 and 14. So whatever we're doing with STEM is not working in that sense.
Yes.
Third finding is that almost all girls globally choose activities below their age range. 9-year-old girls choose 7-year-old activities. 9-year-old boys choose 10 or 11-year-old activities. Fourth finding, children can only aspire to what they know exists, right? Children from poor backgrounds make poor job choices to begin with. They clean windows, right? They make beds in a hotel. They work in the supermarket. They don't fly planes. And then the final finding was that globally, the choices the children make are the same. So there's little difference between the pattern between Mumbai, Mexico, and Moscow, for example. So that research came out, and then you think, how are we going to do something about this? So we had in London an activity sponsored by Renault at the time, which was a Formula E car.
Yeah.
You learned about the electric engine and the combustion thing, and then you got to change in overalls with these things. You got to change the tires on the car, right? Timed, almost like Formula One. So I couldn't think of a more male activity, quite frankly. So I parked myself outside there for, I don't know, weeks, and just observed. So between 10 and 12, we put 2 male members of staff in, and it was 100% male. The girls would just walk past and go, that's just not for me, there's all boys in there. Then between 12 and 2, we put 1 male, 1 female. And the percentages went to something like 80-20. And then between 2 and 4, we put 2 females in, and the percentages went to 70-30, whatever it was. And my point was that actually we hadn't spent any money. All we'd done is we just put ourselves in the shoes of the youngsters.
Yeah.
And then, and sometimes I now speak at HR directors' conferences and go, well, can you just stop thinking that spending money is the answer? Can you put yourself in the shoes of people? So think that through. How many male primary school teachers are there? And how many female primary? So what is the exposure that our children have in terms of the role modeling? So actually, in many primary schools, if you wanted a male role model, you'd have to look really hard. And so we need to think around those solutions in that way. So if I've got a primary school that is entirely male, entirely with staff that's entirely female, I might want to think that many of my visitors should be male. in whatever project I do. It just needs to live here somewhere as a constant. It's incidentally, please, nobody do a male-female in primary school week or day or whatever, right? It just has to be here constantly. And then it works. So we kind of stumbled across that data and then got the answers and then thought, there must be something we can do about this. And that then became a global thing.